So you like The Mask of Zorro. Now what do you watch? Well, as we wrap up Zorro Week, here's a recommendation from each decade, 10 in total, going back 100 years depending on what you liked about the movie. I'm starting with the current decade because it's the easiest. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is literally a spiritual sequel. It's kind of like, what if Zorro became kind of like Tony Soprano, fearful of death and having panic attacks? I legitimately think it's one of the best movies of the current decade. It's animated so well, tightly paced, the action scenes are excellent, and it's got one of the most stacked casts ever, from Antonio Banderas himself, to Selma Hayek, to Florence Pugh, to Olivia Colman, to Ray Winstone, to Wagner Moura. Again, it's tremendous. TTRPG influencer Millie Odegard picked that for a podcast episode, and she said I was going to potentially be a crazy fan of it if I liked it, and she was right. I am now. For the 2010s, here's a film that also hides incredibly subversive messaging in an action thriller, Johnny To's Drug War. This was To's first movie set and shot in mainland China, so he had to get around some of the censors. And the way he does this is by showing what a draconian drug war does to both sides. Does it matter after a certain point who are the cops and who are the criminals? To's known for spectacular set pieces, so the final 20-minute shootout with a school bus in the middle takes on a sick perversity as he does a subtle but incredible examination of what could be a story set in the US with American over-budgeted cops. In the 2000s, we'll go to Japan with Zatoichi from Takeshi Kitano. He's my favorite director, and this was one of Kitano's most mainstream movies, so it's different than his stuff in many ways. But the man can really do tense scenes in action and violence so well, and he crafts this as kind of a love letter to the classic samurai films of his youth and traditional Japanese theater. If you like the classic Hollywood big budget kind of movie that The Mask of Zorro is, but you want it like kind of classically Japanese, then this is what I'd recommend to you. It's really good. The only thing weird about it is the CGI blood. I don't like it, but I still think it's worth it. Speaking of classic 90s big budget movies, an underrated gem is the original Stargate. It's kind of like a dry run at Independence Day before Roland Emmerich did Independence Day. But if you like The Mask of Zorro and you like The Mummy and you tune your IQ down to like 80, it's a fun time. Emmerich's a great dumb movie director. If you like the stunts and haven't seen it, go to the 80s with Jackie Chan's Police Story, which is one of the greatest action movies ever and certainly has some of the most insane stunts ever. This sequence with the car going down the hill, you gotta wonder how like 100 people didn't die. Or when he slides down this huge metal pole, or like 5,000 other stunts in the movie. It's so incredibly good, probably Jackie's best. Back in the 70s, if you just like swashbuckling that's somehow very emotional, I gotta go with Herbert Ross's The 7% Solution, which is criminally underwatched. It's like a Mask of Zorro type adventure with tons of swashbuckling, but also somehow Sherlock Holmes, and somehow Robert Duvall and Alan Arkin and Laurence Olivier, and somehow they also managed to make it both incredibly emotional and also with some insane sequences, including this fight on a top of a train. It's tremendous. I also did a pod on that one with fantasy author Carl R. Jennings. For the 60s, go with Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus, which is one of the best shot movies of all time by my favorite cinematographer Russell Meddy, but it's also pretty clearly a direct inspiration on The Mask of Zorro, right down to the direct I'm Zorro and I'm Spartacus references.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
I'm Zorro! I am Zorro!
It's an insanely leftist movie too, written by blacklisted writer Dalton Trumbo as his first major movie off the blacklist. So if you like how well The Mask of Zorro got the spirit and demeanor of the 1% and seeing a fight against that, definitely watch it. The same thing goes in the 50s. The Badlanders by Delmer Daves is a super leftist story about Ernest Borgnine and Alan Ladd teaming up with an oppressed Mexican village to light a bunch of rich people on fire. It also has one of the best romances ever between Borgnine and Katie Gerardo. It's really incredible and also very little known for some reason. It has a lot of the Western vibe of Zorro too, if you like that. To the 40s, we'll go with the best of the classic swashbuckling movies that I've seen so far, which is Michael Curtiz's The Seahawk, which is the movie I picked to pair with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish with Millie. This is a black and white swashbuckling movie with Errol Flynn as a privateer going against Spain. It's very explicitly a propaganda movie to try and influence America into joining the British in World War II, but I gotta hand it to him. It works. I was successfully propagandized because it's tremendous. I was ready to go to war. The action scenes hold up super well, especially the fencing scenes, and it has one of the best scores ever by classic swashbuckling composer Eric Wolfgang Korngold. You get most of the same people involved in the wreck from the 30s, which is The Adventures of Robin Hood by Curtiz and also William Keighley. It's great, and the only way I can describe it is jolly. I mean, it's just the jolliest movie ever. It's just fucking jolly. I don't know. It's colorful as hell. There's all kinds of swashbuckling. It's casually leftist, and it's got Basil Rathbone and Claude Rains. I mean, come on. And Claude Rains somehow looks like Theo Von in the movie. Like, look at this. That's just Theo Von. And it also has a swashbuckling mainstay, Olivia de Havilland, who I just released a podcast on and who will be the subject of the next mini-series entitled A Primer on Olivia de Havilland. The full Zorro list is on my Letterboxd, which is here with even more recs. Follow me there for that, and here for De Havilland Week.